United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Deacon Dan Wilowski from St. John's would you like us to sit, stand?
Please stand.
Okay.
Remain standing. Heavenly Father, we come to you today asking for your guidance, wisdom, and support as we begin this hour meeting. Help us to engage in meaningful discussion, allow us to grow closer as a group, and nurture the bonds of community. Fill us with your grace, Lord God, as we make decisions that will affect the residents of the town of Riverhead, and continue to remind us that all that we do here today, all that we accomplish, is for the pursuit of truth and for your greater glory, for the service of humanity. We ask things in your name, amen.
Amen. Deacon Dan, thank you very much. From St. John's right here in Riverhead.
St. John's, correct.
Appreciate you coming out, sir. Thank you very much. Okay.
I'd like to make a motion that we approve the minutes of February 5th, 2013. So moved.
And seconded?
Moved and seconded. Vote, please.
Giglio.
Yes.
Gabrielson.
Yes.
Wooten.
Yes.
Dunleavy.
Yes.
Walter.
Yes.
The minutes are approved.
Dave, do we have the officer and our dispatcher here? Oh, yeah, look at that. Sorry, I don't have my glasses on. Dave, if you can join us up front. I want them up front too. Chief Cohen. Chief Cohen? Oh, it's X? When did that happen, huh? Must have been an election. Your wife must be happy. It's you. And our dispatcher, Elko. Come on up. Dave, I'd like you to set the stage.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
For what happened here.
Thank you very much.
If you stand over the microphones, they'll work. Come stand in the back here. We don't want a long speech, Chief. Just a good start.
I have the brief details. This past Saturday, about 3:45 or so in the afternoon, we received a call at headquarters for a young male choking, 15-month-old, I believe. PSD Elko took the call. She was able to keep a very level head and actually able to give out emergency medical dispatch information over the phone to the parent to try to help the child. I think our first arriving officer was Officer Davis, right? She then took the child at the scene and she was able to administer some back blows, I think, to it and try to dislodge whatever the child was choking on. I know that the child was bleeding at the time. Officer Cohen arrived, and then I think they decided to they made the decision to put the child in the car, in the police vehicle, and transport the child directly to the hospital. All the time while Officer Davis was working on the child. Child made it to the hospital, and I'm happy to say he's safe and sound at this time. So, yeah, great job by both of you.
We're going to give that to Officer Cohen from the town board and to Alyssa Elko. You can give that to Officer Cohen.
Okay.
You're doing good, Chief. You're really doing good.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
And we do have one for our police officer, Kerry Davis, if you could, she couldn't be here today. It is, you know, every one of the board members is a parent, the chief's a parent, and I cannot think of anything worse than your young child being in distress like this. And the fact that our dispatcher, Elko, I saw a comment from Ron Farnworth, that's why we had to keep our dispatchers in Riverhead. The calm, level-headedness of our dispatchers, Dispatcher Elko, the fact that ex-Chief Cohen now, I'm sure he's happy, former Wading River Fire Chief, the thought to not wait for the ambulance, to immediately rush that child when seconds mattered in that child's life, it is just it's bravery. And the fact that you guys did that and stuck it together, and I can't imagine how fast you were going down the road to the hospital, but that child owes his life to you folks. And it's those decisions that people make in that split second that make all the difference, and whether some people make it and some people don't. And so rather than shake your hand, I'm going to hug both of you. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate, and we as a town board appreciate everything that you've done, and keep up the wonderful service. We have no finer group of police officers in the Riverhead Police Department. Now, I'm going to steal a little bit of thunder because Officer Kavanaugh is not here, but I want to say something about what Officer Kavanaugh did last week. As you know, we can't even keep up with the way the police, some of like Riverhead Local, and I guess the News Review does the same thing with the dispatcher, so we can't even get the information out quicker than they pick it up on the dispatch. Officer Kavanaugh, last week, there were shots fired on 3rd Street. Before the 911 call came in, he was on that scene, and I was going to use a term, but I won't, and grabbed those thugs and had the downtown units on, because I think it was 4 people in the car.
Yes.
Scooped up those 4 people. Now, Officer Kavanaugh is one man, had the downtown units descend on that car, captured those people. So for those of you that might have been naysayers about, well, putting all these extra patrols on Main Street, they work, and they worked. And so I am ever grateful to Officer Kavanaugh. I don't want to steal anything, but this is just another example of this police department doing a wonderful job. So for Officer Kavanaugh and the other units that responded, the COPE units, I guess, responded on 3rd Street, I appreciate that too. Okay. Back to some more mundane things. Diane?
Okay. Under reports, tax receiver total tax collection to date as of January 31st, $67,775,242.16. Tax receiver total tax collection to date as of February 6th, $67,870,653.78. For tax receiver, their utility collection report for I think that's January. $915,201.16. Sanitation, 213 waste disposal licensing fees as of January 23rd, $4,900. Sanitation recycling fund data and total collected for 2012, $11,404.32. Police Department monthly report for December 2012 and annual report for 2012 were submitted. Under applications, there was a special permit submitted for Woolworth revitalization to change the use of the structure to gym or indoor recreation at 130 East Main Street. Chapter 90, there was an application submitted from the American Heart Association for a 5K walk run for May 19th at Martha Clara Vineyard. Under correspondence, Jamie Candela and William Javette, a letter responding to the February 5th, 2013 public hearing regarding amending Chapter 58 dogs. Mary Egan, also a letter responding to the February 5th public hearing regarding amending Chapter 58 dogs. Robert Hall, a letter expressing opinions to the council members regarding Concordia Senior Community. 2 letters from Phil Barbado, a letter of thanks for adopting the Wading River Corridor Study, and a second letter expressing concerns about the possibility of a settlement of lawsuits that would impact property at Route 25 and Manor Road in Calverton. And that's it.
Thank you. Any town board reports?
We are still having our bike drive, so if anybody has a bicycle that's gently used that you want to turn into Twin Forks Bicycle, we'll be having an essay contest at the schools for grades 5 through 9, where they can write an essay from 500 to 600 words It'll be graded by the Alternative Transportation Committee, and they'll receive a bicycle on Bike Rodeo Day at Stotsky Park on May 4th. So if anybody has any gently used bicycles they want to bring to Twin Forks, in exchange they'll get a 10% discount for anything in Twin Forks bicycles.
All right, thank you. Anybody else?
I just want to make one comment, following up what the supervisor said about our police department. There's one more individual out in Wading River who, this summer, saved 3 children and 2 adults that their boat capsized. This is why we have a police department, and people are critical on the salaries that they get, but you have to realize they're our #1 person that fight crime and save people, along with our dispatchers in the police department. So I think that all the thanks should go out to our police department and our dispatchers for the work that they do. Thank you.
Absolutely, thank you. And that's a nice haircut you got there.
Thank you. I didn't get a lollipop though.
No lollipop?
No lollipop.
Anybody else? Okay. George Woodson, is there anything you need? I don't want to keep the highway superintendent waiting. You did such a great job this past storm. We can give him a round of applause.
No, I figured I'd just attend to see what one of these things look like.
Yes, they're highly exciting, riveting. Okay, we have 3 public hearings. 7:05 having arrived. Mike and Frank Russo, why don't you come up? The first one we're going to open up is a public hearing. Bob, can I open? I mean, they're both the same. Can I open them both up the same?
Separate sides of the street.
Separate sites, but all right, we'll do one at a time.
Do them separately.
All right, the first public hearing that we're going to open, 7:05 having arrived, and it is now 7:15. We'll open a public hearing on the question of extension of the boundary of the Riverhead Sewer District and the extension of the sanitary waste collection facility to accommodate the sewer connection for the proposed 21st Century Oncology Center located on Old Country Road in Riverhead. Mr. Russo.
Yes,
Mr. Reichel.
good evening. I'm Frank Russo from H2M. I'm an engineer, and I'm here to present the map and plan for this project. This is the old PC Richard building, and they're currently out of the district. The applicant has applied to be made part of the district, and the map and plan presents the measures and the costs associated with that connection. The original project was to connect by gravity. There's another system that we looked at. Actually, it was the applicant's engineer who proposed that. I presented to Superintendent Reichel an alternate system, an alternative to that, which we costed out, and it was significantly less expensive. That's the use of a low-pressure system.
The applicant did have the occasion to come see me, and Michael, you and I haven't had the opportunity to speak about that. And I've read the report. It is significantly cheaper to use the LPS's low-pressure system as opposed to a gravity feed 8-inch main. I thought so.
That's right, significantly. Probably a rule of thumb is anywhere around a third to half cheaper than what would be a gravity system. It does require the applicant to install a small pump station, but the line is, the actual connection line is a small diameter. It's roughly 2 inches. It's directionally drilled, so you have no restoration. The item that bumped up the cost the highest was the extension of the gravity sewer north on Ostrander to the north side of Route 58. You're crossing County Road. They have requirements for restoration, traffic maintenance. That's what bumped it up.
And they can't sort of hydrojet that 8-inch gravity main underneath the road, can they?
No, you cannot directionally drill a gravity line.
Can I ask you one question on that?
Sure.
By putting the less expensive system in, if someone wants to connect to that system, that doesn't have a sewer, that wants to connect to the sewer district, they won't be able to do that because it's a smaller,
Actually, we sized it for the Hess, there's a Midas next to the Hess.
right.
Then there's PC Rich, and then there's Burger King. We sized this line so that they all would be able to connect. So if in the future, once this line is in, we leave a stub with a valve, the other properties would connect at that point.
Yeah, well, I'm saying with the smaller system, you said they can't connect?
They can connect.
Okay, so,
So it was sized that way as well.
I don't know.
What
Why
about-
are we using it?
We're expanding our line to accommodate their fee.
Yes, correct.
What about further east on the roads, like down past Ostrander
Yep.
and,
We included, the gravity line that crosses Route 58 will terminate at the intersection of Ostrander and 58 on the north side. We left a stub connection so that if somebody wanted to connect east of that, that would be, you'd have to extend the sewer down.
okay,
So it is there. Part of the analysis was to see if, we're only talking about roughly, what was it, 1,200 gallons per day, or, I'm sorry, 1,135. So it's a small amount. And so we went through the steps, and we know that everything downstream of the connection is adequate. So that's good. The total cost of the project is to be paid by the applicant, and we estimate the total cost to be, very conservatively, at about $500,000. That includes the no net nitrogen charge,
And
which is at
That's using the less
$10.50.
expensive system.
I'm sorry?
That's using the less expensive system.
Yes, that's on,
Okay.
right. That's
Thank
on
you.
the system that's proposed, correct.
Thank you.
At a later date, if somebody ties into that, like some of the other businesses, will they contribute towards
Yes,
that initial
that would
cost
be
of
a
under the road
separate-
and everything? So yeah, all right.
Yep, separate charge.
And it sunsets after so many years?
What George is asking is do they help to pay for these costs, which they don't?
On
It's
the,
to be borne by the applicant, solely by the applicant.
So he can't recoup any of that under the
No,
street from the
no,
others?
no.
It then becomes
Like this
property of
electric
the
or whatever,
district.
right?
I thought you meant the no net nitrogen charge. They would have to pay that charge. But the cost of the line is already in, there's no recoupment.
Yeah, I would think it would be fair, like over 5 years, anybody comes into the
There's,
system should
logistics
contribute towards
involved,
the,
and
yeah.
it gets messy. This is
Yeah.
usually the cleanest way, and you never know when and if
Well, if
those
the
other
applicant's
people
happy,
connect.
we're
Well,
happy.
it's very important.
Well, I will say, to the folks that don't know, 21st Century Oncology is one of the, I think it may be the largest cancer radiation centers or groups in the United States. So to have them associated with Peconic Bay Medical Center is huge. So, the board's very supportive of that project.
Right.
Frank, is there anything else we need to know?
No, that's it.
All right, I'll open it up to public comment. Does anybody wish to comment on this? Not seeing anybody, I'll close the public hearing and leave it open for written comments until March 1st, 4:30 in the town clerk's office. Frank, Mike, we've got another public hearing that's supposed to start at 7:10, and I'll open that public hearing at 7:21. It's a public hearing on the question on the increase and improvements to the facilities of the Riverhead Sewer District to relocate existing sanitary sewer for a Stop and Shop fuel facility at 841 Old Country Road in Riverhead, and that is an abandoned gas station. Was that a Getty gas station? USA gas station. So there's a good thing that this sort of blighted property is going to be taken care of, and Frank, if you want to.
Yes, this property is located at the southeast corner of the intersection of Route 58 and Ostrander Avenue, not too far from where the oncology is. There's an existing 8-inch line that the sewer district has that cuts across an easement on this property. For the Stop and Shop to construct their fuel facility, they're requesting that that line be relocated. The relocation of that line would require and it is our understanding that they did obtain the easement for the relocation. So really what's involved is taking out the old line, putting in some manholes, and coming back into Ostrander Avenue.
All at Stop and Shop's cost.
Correct.
And so we'll get some new sewer main out of it.
That's correct. Brand new pipe. The estimated cost of that relocation is roughly $76,000. And again, that's to be paid 100% by Stop and Shop.
Okay.
And now, the easement that they're going to be, the new easement that they're going to be creating, who is negotiating that and who is paying for that?
They pay for it, and I believe the easement has already been obtained, so that would be a transfer over to the sewer district if they, you know
Through
about that?
Dick Ehlers,
Yeah,
he's working on it.
yep,
Okay.
They're buying the property where the easement is now, because it's on there's a church located next to that. The easement is on a church property now, but Stop and Shop will be buying that portion, so the easement will be then on Stop and Shop's service station,
exactly.
okay?
Mhm.
So that's what this is all about.
Yep.
All right. Open it up to the public. Does anybody from the public wish to be heard on this? Not seeing anybody? Do you have a question on this?
Yes, I did. I was wondering if we ever got over the hurdle of the pre-existing non-conforming use, seeing as they were making the parcel larger. They did come to the planning board work session, and there were some concerns about that, but I'm being informed that they went to the zoning board of appeals, and that pre-existing non-conforming use was reestablished.
Okay. All right. Not seeing anybody else that wishes to be heard on the relocation of the sewer main, I will close the public hearing at 7:24 and leave it open for written comment only till March 1st at 4:30 in the town clerk's office. And we have a third public hearing, and this is supposed to start at 7:15. It is now almost 7:25. We'll open this public hearing, and this is a consideration of a special use permit application of Dr. Jeffrey Nazar to construct a one-story professional office building at 189 Main Road, Aquabog, Suffolk County Tax Map Number 0600-85-2-96.6. Mr. DeLuca, just state special use permit. Do you have to get sworn in, yeah? You have for the record, you're handing in the affidavits of publish and post? Mr. DeLuca, for the record, that's the affidavits of publishing and
Yes, it
posting?
is.
Okay, thank you.
Good evening, Mr. DeLuca.
If you could just raise your hand, and the town attorney will swear you in.
State your name, please.
James DeLuca.
Do you swear that the testimony that you're about to give to be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Thank you.
Mr. DeLuca, if you could present this project?
Yes. This one, which is set there.
That works. Yep.
This is a very simple project. This is for Dr. Nazar, Nazar Commons. What Dr. Nazar wants to do is add another building in the back of his site. We were in here before, and we had to get, before we came back for the special permit, we had to get a use variance, not a use variance, a area variance, and we had to get a CAC permit because there was wetlands in the back. We proceeded to do both. It's in the packet that I just gave you. Both permits are in there.
So you obtained both the area variance and
Zoning Board of Appeals, the area variances.
the CAC permit,
Correct.
okay?
And now we're here tonight to receive the special permit. I supplied you with a copy of the RLC zoning ordinance, and on page 248 of 279, you'll see that the special permitted uses and professional offices are one of them. And this property is not located within a quarter mile of the Hamlet Center or BC. But if you go down to added amendments, Amendment C, it does qualify in that zone where it says the property has footage along New York State Route 25 between 105 and the boundary line with the town of South Hole. Now, several years ago,
Wait a minute, let me sort this out. I thought, so we're not here for a special permit hearing for an expansion of a
well,
non-conforming use.
it's either one or the two. We can go either way, special permit and non-conforming.
What did we notice?
The notice was for expansion of non-conforming.
Yeah, well,
Okay, that's what I
we'll
thought.
stick with that one. But what I'm pointing out, it does qualify even under that.
Okay, let's just, Bob, can you take a look at this because the
I'm looking at it as he's saying it.
Yeah,
property has frontage, special use permits, so you have professional offices, country inns, funeral homes, bistros, cafes, bed and breakfasts, professional offices, which we are. And then you have a sub of professional office, so this is a sub of professional offices.
correct.
And the property is not, property is improved with single-family residence, that doesn't apply. The professional office shall be within the bulk, that doesn't apply. The property has frontage along 25 and Route and 105 to the town boundary. Now, not trying to use my attorney hat here, but Bob, I think Rick, have you looked at this?
We noticed it under expansion of the non-conforming. All the reports are done under that. I don't
This
know
is
if-
interesting because it looks like he's in, Rick, come on up to the microphone here.
Rick, this was added because of the houses that are there, and people wanted to keep the houses and have professional offices in those houses.
Right,
That's
correct.
So this section was added
That's correct.
because of that. Am I correct?
Yes.
Okay.
I haven't looked at this section in quite some
Yep.
time.
Do you have that, Mr. Toluca, that I can look at it? Because it's,
This is not improved with a single-family residence.
No, but this is subsection.
You have to meet all three.
why do you have to meet all three? Doesn't say that.
Well, that's the legislative intent.
So that's
Okay.
why.
Professional offices.
The legislative intent was to allow for conversion.
Oh,
Existing
to the
single-family
following
residence.
conditions. Okay, professional, okay.
So all the notices, all the reports,
Okay, so no, I didn't see the following conditions, okay.
There's three of them.
Yeah,
All right, I understand.
I
All right,
just
so
wanted to point-
this is, really is what, Mr. Hanley said,
yeah,
the
I just wanted to
expansion.
point out to the board that that was in there. So we are going for expansion of non-conforming pre-existing use.
Okay,
If you notice in the package, this original, I gave you the present PB zone and the previous PB zone. That's what the original buildings were under, PB. And the first two buildings in the front were built under the PB zoning ordinance, and he complied with all provisions at that time. The buildings, as you know, are about 25 years old at this point. Now, Dr. Nazar wants to put that other structure in the rear yard, as noted on the drawing here. You see the site plan. I'll point this out to the people in the audience too. These two are the two existing buildings, and the proposed building backs up to Cross River Drive or County Road 105, and it preserved the land that we have got our CAC is right in this area right here. And the rest, all the green around here, the dark green is a planting buffer, which is 15 feet. Minimum is 10, but we have 15 feet that borders the backyards of the houses. And the structure is all the way over to the west side of the property. And also, we split the parking. We added some more parking in this area because I realized there was a slight parking problem over
There
here.
was a problem, yeah.
So we added 8 more stalls here for the employees to use. And then we have another 19 over here. The ratio of parking that we have now is actually higher than the ratio, the floor area that was previously here. It was short 3 stalls, so we made up the the short, and so we meet the ordinance now. We're actually slightly over the ordinance now. We also added a area for a dumpster in this corner here, which they didn't have one before.
And the dumpster, the area variance takes into consideration the subtraction of the wetlands, is that what?
Yes, we subtracted the wetlands, and that was totally taken out. And we complied with the ordinances with the wetlands out.
Right.
Okay.
And our area variances were for impervious surface and for a setback for total side yards.
Now, how far is the parking lot from the wetlands?
The parking
can't
lot,
see it.
well, there's a retaining wall. Now, I have pictures in there of what the wetlands is. If you look in the back pages, I have photographs of, now these are not designated wetlands through DEC.
Right.
This was sort of like a drainage easement, wetland sort of
From
thing.
105.
Right.
And
So
also, I
we-
think that development, what's the development to the south? Is that Trout Brook? Comes up to the,
This, yeah.
to the south, that comes
Yeah,
up to it.
That's
There's
South
three
Brook,
houses.
yeah.
Right, because I think when we had the heavy rains a couple of years ago, I think that whole area was underwater, including these
Exactly.
lots. It was
Exactly.
like a lake in
It's
it,
true.
right?
And my house where I live in Rolling Woods is almost underwater.
Yes, that's it.
My
Well, I'm just
driveway-
saying that's a drainage area. I'm not
Yeah.
comparing it to Rolling Woods or anywhere
I'm
else,
kidding.
because your elevation's a lot higher.
Yeah. But,
But those houses that are to the south, in the cul-de-sac, they were added after the development was built.
correct, I believe.
Because,
They're not the same
because
style.
I was out there looking at this, and it looks like that there's 4 houses that are in that cul-de-sac.
These right here.
Yes, and it looks like they were added after the development was built.
Correct. Yeah, Muratello was the builder. He was gone, several years ago before these were put up.
And they're a lot lower
Yeah.
than the original
Correct,
development.
right. So that's why we're leaving this whole area. We have a retaining wall around here, and we're leaving this whole area to remain as it is. Actually, we're gonna revegetate this area to the, I was working with Joe Hall and an environmentalist, the species, we're gonna revegetate this because it's been used, there's a lot of debris in there and other things, and it was used like a little dirt track and so forth and so on. So we're gonna reestablish this area. And the drainage that's in the corner here now, we're repitching to go north. We're gonna put a drain right across, a trench drain right across here, and pick it up and relocate all the drainage rings here. And then most of this is gonna be the pervious asphalt and gravel. We're still gonna put drains in here, but again, pitched going the other way. This area is gonna be much higher. So, because I have to do that because the septic system is gonna go.
Yeah, because it's very low back there.
Well, yeah, it rises
Yeah,
up right at the
it
corner.
lines up with that pond.
Exactly.
Mr. DeLuca, you should go over by the microphone. I think our tabletops will pick you up, but since this is a public hearing, I want to make sure we get everything.
We're conscious of the drainage and the lighting and the other things that would have an impact on the neighbors behind. We don't want to infringe upon their dwellings. In the ordinance, as you can see, there is special things that you have to do in this area, such as the architecture has to be sort of a traditional type of architecture, which we plan to do. We actually want to make the building look like a house. And that's our, and use natural materials on it. Eventually, Dr. Nazar wants to even take the 2 existing buildings that he has there and put gable end roofs on them to make them look more country than they look now. Also, this plan is sort of in keeping with most of the campus-style architecture that you want, with scattered buildings rather than having one massive building on the piece of property. So I try to do that when we did the plan here. And basically, this new parking scheme actually does clean up the problem he has there with the parking now, riding through there. It's actually a little the turn is a little tough there, so we try to clean that up with extra parking and get some of the cars out of that area.
What is the, oh, sorry.
Go ahead. I believe Dr. Nazar is gonna move out of the front building and move his practice to the back
To
building.
the back building.
And, but we still have to go through the planning board yet, and they're gonna review all the drainage calculations, the asphalt. The architectural review board is definitely gonna review the architecture of the building. And it took us about, 8 or 9 months to get through the particulars with the CAC, not the board
I was
itself.
gonna ask you, did you, DOT, because that's a,
DOT, no.
trying to get out of there is
We're
a
not
rough
putting
place.
a new curb cut in.
existing.
And we don't need to put a new curb cut in, so we're using the existing curb cut.
Did this get referred to state? Okay. What is the percentage for the increase of the nonconformity?
It's right on the drawing.
And did, Diane, did he give you a copy of all this for the record?
No.
Keep all that for the record.
Right now, we're going, the total building coverage right now is 7%. Permitted is 10, we're going to 10.5. So it's 0.5% over the permitted lot coverage.
Okay, what's, what, in terms of how many square feet are the two buildings and how many square
Well,
feet are the building?
the two buildings, right now, the existing building is 7,000, total of the two buildings is 7,185 square feet. The new building is 3,575 feet, so the total building area will be 10,760 square feet.
What is that percentage?
25%, I guess.
Let me see.
It's half as much again as we're
About
saying.
30%, more or less. No, it's 7,000. Yeah.
What's it, 7,000,
7,000. 185, and this is.
And what was the other, 3175?
35. It's
35?
like 51%.
35, 75. It's about 50%.
3575 is the new one?
Less, 48%, 49%.
50 point something.
Okay.
It's less.
I don't have a math degree, so I'm not even trying to
That's
figure
easy.
it out.
No.
Half of 7,000 is 50%.
Yeah.
Right, so it's a
Like-
crack
So
over
it's about a
50, 50
50%.
point,
Yeah.
50 point something.
I can't,
That's easy.
do you have any precedents of the board doing this before?
Yeah,
They are?
yeah, we did, I had another project on Sound Avenue.
What was that?
RK,
What was the percentage of nonconformity increase on that one?
100.
Settles that.
Hey, shaking his head.
Colossal.
Can I just ask one question? I didn't understand.
Colossal
Which
at
way are
Avenue?
you gonna push the
Ed-
water
One comment.
that's coming off the driveway, the parking lot?
Which parking?
Are you gonna push it towards the pond or away?
Away.
Away from the pond?
Away.
So you're gonna try to help the drainage situation
We're
there?
gonna correct the drainage situation.
You're gonna, yes, okay. I didn't understand that,
You know,
okay.
I wouldn't tell you right now that the drainage system is working perfectly. It's not.
Right,
And it has to be fixed.
okay.
And the way it has to be fixed, and the only way it can be fixed, is a trench drain put across, right across the road. We have to take up half the asphalt that's there now in that middle section, the middle building, and put a trench drain in, and then direct it north.
Right.
And then the water from the new will be turned westward.
Okay,
And the septic system would be on the west side of the building. Because in commercial, you can put the septic system anywhere.
you're
Front,
gonna
back,
put on the
side,
one
it
oh
doesn't
five
matter.
side.
The only restriction you have is you gotta keep it 20 feet away from any of the drains.
Right,
Okay, so it's
okay.
roughly
Thank you.
50%, 49.75% increase
Right.
of nonconformity. And As you've aptly pointed out, this board has done this with another project that you were involved in, so there is precedent here. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say that, for instance, when this was rezoned, and we know this happens with rezoning all the time, for instance, the property next door is a 50-foot lot. When they come in and eventually he's gonna sell the property next door, it's a vacant lot right now,
Is that the property
it's
to
just,
the west?
it's right,
The north,
it's right on the top.
Yeah.
the north.
Okay.
There's a house there now.
Well, it's west, northwest.
Yes,
correct.
it's the house is there now.
Well, no, this is a vacant lot.
Where's that, there's somebody living right there.
Right next door, over here, this is
Actually,
a
we can see
vacant
it
lot.
here.
And then his house is right here.
Right, yes,
And this is a 50-foot lot.
okay.
Basically, he's gonna have to come in for the same thing, anything they put up in there, because when they rezoned it for side yards equaling 100 feet.
Yeah, I was gonna
The,
say,
the property's only 50 feet wide.
it's probably 175 deep, right?
Yeah, I mean, so anything that's done on most of these properties on that are gonna have to come
Right.
back to the board. And realistically, what are they gonna put there? There's gonna be another office. And to the northeast of there was just an office put up there. It's an accounting, I
Right.
believe it's an accounting office.
And this is a pre-existing non-conforming use based
Right.
on the RLC zoning.
Right. So-
I'm going to acknowledge that my planning director shook his head yes. Okay, do you have anything else before I open it up?
No, I'll
I have one question. The dark green areas that are around the plan, Mr. DeLuca, what do those signify, those darker green shades?
Dark green is, those are planting buffer. That's a.
And how wide are those?
Pardon me?
How wide are those? What's the width of those buffers?
The ones right alongside this back property line here, these are 15 feet. These are all 15 feet, minimum. 10 is required, we put 15, and then this is gonna remain the same, a natural vegetation area. It's gonna remain the same, and then we have a 10-foot buffer across here, and then this all remains natural, and we're gonna revegetate it. And then realistically, what we wanna do is just leave as many trees as we can here. I mean, why take them down and replant them? I mean, it makes no sense.
Agreed.
Agreed.
All right, I'm gonna open it up. Who wishes to be heard?
A lot of them scribbles.
And what we'll do is, you can ask the questions of the board. Mr. DeLuca will come back at the end and answer any questions that he can, and we'll go from there.
Why do you think it was denied for business KB and resident A40 when it's all hard?
And state your name for the record, please.
Dominique Mendez.
And is
Excuse me.
testimony about to give the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
Thank you.
Excuse me, I've had a little cold.
First into it.
I realize that this board made a prior decision to grant 100% expansion of a non-conforming use. It's something actually that I spoke out against. As we all know, non-conforming uses should really only be expanding. It's good planning just to expand them maybe a little bit. So 100% expansion is extreme. I would hope that this board would consider this on its own and would not factor that prior decision in. Certainly you'd see why now we would scream and yell if you do use this other decision, a decision like that. And so a lot of times we talk about precedent, and this is exactly why you're citing another decision, which, you know, I might say was a little questionable, and to then basically say that any non-conforming use could be expanded 100% because you made a decision one time to do that. I don't think that that is at all fair or
I
right.
didn't say that. I just asked if he had any precedent, and he said he did.
I think it went a little farther than that, but okay. Then hopefully you won't consider that prior decision because, again, if you always harken back to that 100% expansion, then anyone coming here with a 50, 75, 100% expansion should automatically get that. And I hope that would not be the case, and that you would consider this on its own merits, but do not factor in that prior decision.
Well, I think this should be considered on its own merit. I don't know where this other one was.
I know exactly
I'm looking
the
at it, does it relate to the area of where it's in? Okay? And that, so I'm taking this on its own merit.
Well, I'm
Whether
taking,
it's good or bad, you know.
Mr. Supervisor, if I may speak. I'm taking it on the merit that if he came in for a special permit application for professional offices, which the professional offices are specially permitted uses and not an expansion of a pre-existing non-conforming use, he's meeting the lot coverage essentially with only 0.5% increase. If 10% is permitted and he's at 10.5%, we would be making the decision, do we think that this property is conducive to professional offices, or is it better suited for the permitted uses, which are museums, agricultural, the permitted uses that are within the rural corridor, which is agricultural production, antique stores and craft stores, retail stores or shops, nurseries, museums, libraries, schools, and places of worship. Those are permitted uses with 10% coverage. He's asking for a specially permitted use for professional offices with 10.5% coverage. So that's the way I'm going to look at it, is I'm going to look at it as, is the property and the uses that are being proposed conducive to the intent of the rural corridor? And that's what I'll be basing my decision on, not whether or not it's an expansion of a pre-existing non-conforming use.
Okay. I thought that the specially permitted use was an office if it were in a residence or if it is a certain proximity to the rural Hamlet Center.
Well,
But I wasn't even necessarily going to get into that. I was really talking about.
I'm not going to comment. The application is an expansion of a non-conforming
Right.
use.
Right. It says specially permitted uses. Professional offices of attorneys, architects, medical doctors, or dentists, provided that the subject real property conforms to the following conditions. The property is improved with a single-family residence at the time of the adoption of the
That's where it's
subsection,
not.
which it is.
No, it isn't.
It's improved with, it
Not
was
the
a
same.
single-family dwelling, and now it's professional offices.
No, it's not.
No.
It was never a home.
No.
I thought somebody said that it was a home.
No.
Okay.
All right.
So then it is an expansion of pre-existing.
And another just quick comment. It would be great when you have a public hearing if more information was available to the public in advance. On your public hearing links, you had just this very brief statement that was basically the announcement. But you have a site plan, and you had a special permit or an application for expansion of a pre-existing non-conforming use. And if some materials be available for the public, just scanned in and available for the public upon the notice of the hearing, upon it being posted, that would be helpful. They shouldn't have to be compelled to always come in.
Okay.
So that would be great in the future. Thank you.
Does anybody else wish to be heard on the subject? How you doing, sir? If you could state your name and raise your right hand, you have to be sworn in.
Mark Burnett, I live at 245 Troutbrook Lane.
And do you swear the testimony you're about to give is going to be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
Thank you.
My property is right in the center of that, and it's nice having the site plan there because there's a Riverhead Town drainage easement that runs along the west side of my property and the east side of the lot next to me. You can just see it's barely shaded out there, which runs right towards the building there. Question.
Can you use the microphone?
Yeah, let's go back to the microphone, sir.
That's a problem. I'd like to know how much fill is going to be required to bring that up to the level of the existing parking lot. Living there for 19 years, we've seen quite a few floods. The one from 2010 was disaster. I pumped my basement for 2.5, 3 months. The neighbors pumped 2.5, 3 months. We had the town down there. There was not, nobody had an answer. Being in the title exam business too, we run into a lot of things. Now, one of them is tying in drainage to New York State DOT on 25. Is that what's going to happen?
I'm going to go back to, there's a drainage easement. The town of Riverhead owns a drainage easement?
It's on the map of the north end.
I think it's probably county of the state of New York.
Could you point that out?
It would be a town.
Is that
Just point it out on this
Can you
map
point it
and
on
then
the
go
map?
back to the microphone because I'm not sure that you're getting picked up by the tabletop.
Okay. And you guys from the variance,
Just
meeting-
point it out and go back to
Well,
the.
point where the easement
Oh,
is.
okay, I just want to show the drainage easement comes right along here. Half of my property,
Oh, from your property,
no, from the cul-de-sac, from the,
from
town
the
road.
cul-de-sac, where your property's located?
Yes.
Yeah.
And where does it go?
It's town.
Well, here it is here, grading and drainage
Yeah.
easement,
And where does it drain the water to?
to the low-lying area right there.
On Mr. Nazar's property.
I imagine so.
Go back to the microphone, sir, if you don't mind. You're in the title business, so that's a recorded easement?
Yes, it is.
And who's that in favor of?
Well, it would be in favor of
Can you
Riverhead
pick the
Town.
mic up? There you go.
I don't know that it would be in favor of the town of Riverhead.
Unfortunately, I didn't bring the information here. I had it for the variance hearing.
All right, I'm gonna leave it open for public comment till March 1st, but that's problematic, and we'll ask Mr. DeLuca, because obviously if there's a drainage easement in favor of, say, your subdivision draining onto Mr. Nazar's property, I don't know how that's gonna work.
That is part of the same filed map. His lot is commercial, which is very unusual. I don't think I've ever seen that before. We're residential, and the line across the three backyards states from there north onto his property, it is a commercial lot on the filed map.
So that was all part of the same file map, that
Yes.
drainage easement was put in place in favor of the residents of the cul-de-sac, and you believe it drains down into that low-lying area?
It does. You can see it right on his site plan map.
That could be a problem for Mr. DeLuca.
I'll answer
Okay, that's fine. What else, sir?
Well, like I said, in 2010, with the severe rains and the pumping for 3.5 months, 2.5 months, 3 months, we would like some good solid answers, because when I was here for the variance hearing, we were informed that the drain came back south. So we were picking up water from 25 all across that property, and everything was coming south towards us.
So you're saying it's heading south and draining into your neighborhood?
Yes.
Okay, and that
Everything
may be the
runs
case, I don't
downhill
know.
there. And that's why I'd like to know how much fill would be required to bring that up to the current parking lot height.
It might actually be better for you, because if he builds it up and takes care of all of his water on his site, you would get less water, if that's the case, and I don't know.
That could be, I'm not really sure.
All right, we'll ask.
Was that easement put in after you built your house or before?
No, it was put in when the map was filed.
It was all part of the same subdivision.
All right.
So we'll ask Mr. DeLuca which way it drains, because it's either going to be better or worse for you, and we'll figure that out.
Right, okay, and then also, like I said, I'd like to know how much soil or whatever would have to be brought in there to bring that up 4 feet.
Right.
Now you're taking something that Riverhead Town used as an auxiliary sump, basically, and you're blocking it up.
So you're saying you're at that cul-de-sac there, that water migrates to the north also? You're saying you're down from 25?
Yes, a little bit, from the street, yes, but it also came north from
The
his
combination,
property.
right.
Yeah, it's a kettle hole.
It's like a V.
Yeah.
Right,
Most of the
exactly.
north water drains to the south,
Yes.
over the
yes.
farmlands and, yes.
Well,
To the
no, I don't
lowest
think-
spot.
He's higher there.
Okay.
If that's low, it's gonna drain to that location.
Right, the main problem was water running from 25 too, across that parking lot and filling everything up.
Well, that could be better for you, but we'll have Mr. DeLuca answer the question, because if he fills it up and he handles all of his water, it's gonna stop the water, I would assume, from 25
Right,
as
if
well.
he can work something out with New York State DOT to use their drainage system.
Don't know, we'll ask.
It says he's gonna be
Thank
bringing
you.
in 2,800 yards.
I'm sorry, what?
It says he's going to be bringing in 2,800 yards.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you. Yes, sir.
My name is Roy Heck. I live 2 houses past him at 226 Trout Brook.
If you could raise your hand, sir, and
Mr. Act, do you swear that the testimony you're about to give is going to be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I
Self-God?
swear.
Thank
He mentioned a lot about the drainage. My only thing I could add on that was basically the Olympic-sized swimming pool that was sitting back there when Horton Avenue flooded. A couple of you guys mentioned our street and compared us with Horton, so the fact that it could be mentioned in the same sentence means that it was pretty bad where we were. And the fact that you guys knew about it also lends to say how bad the neighborhood was at that time. That's a lot of water that needs to be displaced into the state sewers if that's what they're going to do with it, and not end up pushing more our way. And also the traffic is insane right there. Anyone ever trying to come out, our back street comes out double the distance from his parking lot to the Jamesport side of 105. And I cannot make a left or right anytime in the afternoon, anytime in the morning once people are at work, or on the weekends. We'll go any other direction out of the neighborhood not to have to come out by him, or where the lot is, because of the traffic coming both ways is just insane. So to add more cars coming all times, it's just going to be dangerous. Last night there was an accident at the intersection again. We lost power for about an hour. Transformer fire or something like that on the pole. It's very dangerous as it is, and then to add more traffic would make it even worse.
Well, yeah, that's why I asked him, because it's to get out of that property, it's rough.
Yeah.
You have to make a right turn. It's hard to make a left turn because you're in the right turn lane, or just before the right turn lane, and a straight lane.
I go to get the kids at the Aquabog school in the afternoon, and I sit there 2-3 minutes just trying to make a right.
Yeah.
All right.
So,
thank you, sir. Does anybody else wish to be heard? Ms. Keller, if you could raise your right hand.
I'm sorry. Do you swear to have testimony about the kids going to be truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Thank you.
You all know me. Georgette Keller, for the record, 6th Street, South Jamesport. So we'll talk with a few different hats on tonight. First of all, as you are all aware, we are in the process of updating New York State's Office of Historic Preservation survey of Main Road in an attempt to bring Main Road to full fruition, just like Main Street downtown as a National Register district. So that should be considered in the architecture and the scheme and the development of rural corridor. That being said, just keep that in mind, because the architecture and the campus style and the varied architectural styles is important. I know that Mr. Wines has been working on that in other areas. We've worked on that right in our Hamlet Historic District with Van Caminade paints, so that even one building, when it exceeds 1,000 to 2,000 square feet, can look like more than one building, so that it's a visual illusion. So I know that that'll come later with the planning board. Now, in terms of the expansion, I was under the impression that expansion of non-conforming use should really not exceed 10%, but given in this case that it's 50%, which brings it nominally to the 10% of rural corridor, does not seem to be a huge issue, but from what I can tell, that brings the total impervious surface for the entire lot greater than the 25% that is allowed. If we're going to be looking at what the rural corridor standards are and meshing it with its non-conforming use from previously, and we're looking at it from a whole community aspect, we're going to be looking at this, I'm sure, more than once all along Main Road from 105 to the town boundary in the future. So I think we need to be cautious and prepared in how we proceed with that aspect of it too, because it is rural corridor. It is meant to be perceived as rural, and a lot of pavement doesn't really convey that message overall. So I would ask that you include that. And if we're going to exceed the nominally accepted amounts of 10% as an expansion, I would request then that given that there are wetlands on this property, and you of course have to look into all the drainage issues that were raised this evening as well, that maybe that you consider putting in a clause on anything that you do approve that there is no further non-conforming expansion on this premises as a possibility. And I think that's about it for now.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Does anybody else wish to be heard?
I guess he's going back.
All right, Mr. DeLuca.
I only had one question.
discussion. The expansion is for medical needs?
Yes.
For expanding the medical business?
Forgive me, what type of doctor is Dr. Nazar?
Chiropractor.
Matt Cracker.
Is it yours? Don't answer. Don't answer.
The variances have already been obtained for the impervious surface, and the exceeding the 0.5% of lot coverage has already been obtained. All the area variances that have been required have been obtained.
I'm really, from my perspective, and I can't speak for the board, I need to know about the drainage issue. The traffic's the traffic, which is terrible over there, but I need to know what's going on with drainage.
The easement does not go across Dr. Nazar's property. It ends right at the property line.
Which way does the water drain? To his property there?
The water right now on his property from the proposed location of the building goes east. Okay, because that area is at elevation 16. The area, the flat area in back of that gentleman's house is at elevation 14. So any water, if there is that much water in that, which there isn't that much because it's a heavy vegetated area, if any water comes off that, it goes east.
Towards that pond?
Pardon me?
Towards that pond there?
Well, there's not a pond there.
Well, it's a
No, you're
collection
talking
area.
about with the existing buildings now.
There's
no pond there. Where's the water go from the existing building?
It goes
East.
It has drains there, but the back drain on the south side, this drain on the south side here, is supposed to hold water, but right now, it's right over here. The drain is right there.
Right.
What's happened into this drain, water is going in this drain, and it's blowing out the side and draining into this area.
All right, go back to, I want to make sure we get all this on the record.
And you're gonna fix that.
Absolutely, we're gonna take it out.
All right.
And we're gonna put all the drainage going towards the north.
What I would like to see, and I think this is going to keep this record open a little bit longer than March 1st, and the reason I say that is I'd like to see an elevation map submitted to the town engineer or Vinnie Gordiello.
Drainage plan.
A drainage plan, correct, complete with elevations, because I want to know that Mr. Hecht and Mr. Burnett's property, I mean, if they're lower and they're taking Mr. Nazar's water, that'll be remedied because you're not allowed to do that under the code, but I'd like to see the drainage plan with the elevations.
Well, I'll also give you, I have the survey and give you shots of their yard. Actually, their yard goes up. Their elevation is up from the flat. The 14 is the lowest area in that whole.
And
including
14
their
is
backyard. Their
one of these.
elevations are higher. Actually, their water's rolling down towards that area.
Where's the 14, in the wetlands?
14 is in the, right.
In the wetlands.
That's the lowest area, and there's pictures of it, right?
Yeah, I saw them. I mean, you have to do a SWIP, obviously. What I think I'd like to see, and I think what I'm gonna do is leave it open for a month, not to have you come back, but for written comment. And I'd like to see the drainage plan submitted. I'd like to have Vinnie go to, because Rick, can you come up to the microphone?
Mr. DeLuca, what is the area of ground disturbance? Is it more than an acre where a SWIP is required?
More than an acre, correct.
Okay.
Acre or more.
So then it's under New York State general permit requirements for a SWIP.
Under SWIP, correct.
Yep.
All right, Rick,
Yes.
this site plan is before the planning board now then?
Not yet, not until the special permit's granted.
All right, I mean, because we're kind of treading.
We're in site plan issues to a certain extent.
We're in site plan issues.
But there are special permit considerations for some of the
Right.
things that have been brought up tonight.
And so, I'm almost tempted, and we don't normally do this, but I'm almost tempted, because those issues are probably better handled by the planning board than
Right,
by
because
us.
I've got yes.
Especially with the drainage plans and SWIP, to almost punt this for the moment
Well,
to the.
these are site plan issues. The special permit ordinance requires a conceptual site plan, which Jim has submitted to us. It doesn't, it shows elevations, but it doesn't show any of the details. The contours are at 2 feet. So, yes, the planning board is going to deal with the drainage issues exactly, but if you feel more comfortable getting something prior to your issuance of a special permit, I mean, that can't hurt.
You're gonna have to do it anyway.
Right.
If we approve it.
This is why I don't know why we do a special
All you're doing,
before the
all you're doing is
way, it's gonna
deciding whether you want to expand a non-conforming use.
But
That's what you're doing.
But the question is, if you're expanding a non-conforming use in an area that's a low-lying area that takes water, that's a
Right, that's a consideration. It might even be one of the criteria if you look at our code. So
Correct.
I think your comment to have the applicant submit a more detailed drainage plan prior to your decision makes some sense.
Mr. DeLuca, is that, because you're going to the planning board anyway, I mean, fundamentally, I don't know what else you would do with this property other than what you're sort of proposing here, and the planning board is more suited to look at this than I think the town board is. So if we left this, Rick, if we left this open, say for, how long would it take you to get to the planning board, to get the drainage plan, to get so we could get a report back from the planning board? What's your time frame, Mr. DeLuca, and what's the planning board's time frame, do you think?
I could have it ready in 2 weeks. I mean, my thing is I have to get the surveyor there. I have to get his schedule because I want to take not only elevations here, I want to take elevations of the adjoining properties so you can see where the water is actually flowing.
Right.
Because, I mean, we could sit here all day long and they could say, well, it's flowing in my yard, and I'm telling you, no, it's not.
No, and that's why, when these two gentlemen came up, that's what I'm concerned with. I want to know the water's being, that you're making the situation better for them, not worse.
Do I feel it absolutely better?
So that's what, that is, to me, and I don't have the factors for the special expansion of the special permit, or I don't have the factors in front of me, but I'm reasonably certain that this would be covered in one of those 14 factors. So what I'd like to do, if it's okay with the board, is we leave this open, because I think that's the big, I mean, traffic is traffic. I can't fix that. But the drainage is something sort of near and dear to everybody's heart after 2010.
I'd like to ask a question here. I don't know if you're aware of, maybe Mark could answer that. That drainage easement, right, that comes off the cul-de-sac?
Yeah.
And it's going back to the property line. Is there water in that
It ends
ever?
at the property line.
Is there any water draining in that easement area?
No.
Some from the road, George, but
No,
you have to go to the
You
next
have to come up. Can you come up, Mark? I'd appreciate it.
But one at a time, though.
The drainage easement ends at the property line, and basically, the water, and if you look at the map closely, you'll see right adjacent to almost the spot we're talking about, the county has a drainage structure. You can see it's right over here. The county doesn't unload their water on other people's property that I know of. And if you look at this closely, there's a drain right here.
105.
I'm looking at the other easement.
Right there.
Okay.
I'm not concerned with that.
This easement ends right there.
What is
So
it?
where does that water flow? Does it flow
Into the
into
property.
this?
There's there can't be too much water in there because I think the person that owns this piece of property has some structures in that. And if you look at the pictures that I gave you, you'll see structures
Right.
built in
Right.
there.
We need the drainage plan. I think that's.
And I guess to follow up on my question here is, if you're gonna build that center area for the parking lot, and you said a lot of water drains to the east, I'm just afraid that might get locked in that corner.
Over here?
Yeah, it probably migrates down towards the low area, am I correct?
No, we're gonna.
No, before this, that water that goes from the easement in, appears to me it would get in that property and go towards the east, as you had
Well,
stated earlier.
Some of the, but this is very heavy vegetated now. You can't even walk through it. And but when you have that type of vegetation, even in the winter, because of the organic material, you don't get frost in the ground, you still get percolation. The,
All right, you gotta go back to the microphone. I'm sorry, I just wanna make sure we get everything on the record.
I just want to see the drainage plan.
but there's not much water flowing off that, in my opinion.
Yeah, and I think that really that we'll have Mark, I don't wanna call you Mark, Mr. Burnett come up in a second, but I think that would be the key for us, is to get the drainage plan as
Yeah.
one of the factors.
That's not a problem.
And leave it open, because we have the opportunity here to make it better for Mr. Burnett and Mr. Hecht and some of the other neighbors, but we want to make sure that,
Basically, any of the water off the impervious surface is gonna be carried north. It's not gonna go south anymore. We're gonna shift it northward. Any, water that's gonna be generated from this new structure will be, again, north. We're not,
right.
nothing is gonna go, towards the south.
And that's all we want to see with the drainage
In
plan.
the code, no matter which building you build, you can't dump your water on other people's property. It's that simple. And we're not about to do it now, and I don't do it in any of the buildings.
No, but we don't.
We understand that, that's ABC, but we're looking about the water coming on the property, where we're diverting it to, or absorbing or whatever.
Right, that's the
my
question.
concern.
Is your neighbors, because this subdivision was all done at once, did the subdivider, was it his grand plan that always the water was going to Mr. Nazar's property? Because if it was, common law would dictate, that's where it continues, and you would have to do something about that.
Yeah.
So that's what we
That's our
want to find out,
concern.
but I don't think that's the case, is what you're saying.
No.
So a drainage plan solves
The thing
that.
is, we're gonna, I'll get the surveyor out there, and we're gonna take shots on the neighbor's property, their elevations.
And then two of the gentlemen are here, so we could ask them, Mr. Hecht and Mr. Burnett are here, so you could ask them for permission to come, because we want to make sure we get this right. And you had a question of Mr. Burnett?
Right.
If Mr. Burnett, if you could just,
I guess my question is, do you observe water coming from the cul-de-sac on that easement, moving north?
Not much, George. I'd say the most water I've seen by the, what do you call the thing, the drain in the road, an inch. It flows from 25 through the parking lot and into the low spot there.
onto Mr. Nazar's property and stays there,
Well,
for the most part.
for the most part, yes. And as far as the wetlands area being trampled or whatever, we jokingly call that the dead zone, because when it floods out, water will lay in there for 2 months,
Right.
and it kills all the vegetation and stuff. So it revegetates, then it floods, it goes on a cycle.
Mother Nature.
Right, exactly, depending on the year.
Well, we want to make sure that we don't impact you guys, so I think we can do this if we leave it open. Does the board have any other questions?
Because if he takes the water and flows it north, that's gonna help you,
Yes, yes, sir.
right?
Yes.
So that's what we wanna see.
That's what we want. So,
That's what we wanna see, if the water's gonna be flowing to the north.
all right, let's do this. Does anybody else wish to be heard on this? Yes, go ahead, Mr. Hecht.
The collection of the rainwater, when it hits the parking lot, they can pump that north. That's terrific. Most of the problem with the property is from the water table, where just being a low-lying area, that's where it goes, just like Horton Avenue. That wasn't water running down the street that caused that. It was just half of Riverhead collected on their street, similar as it did to ours. And everybody was pumping it. My house was lucky. I only have a half basement, so we didn't actually flood. But we were the first ones that did, and everybody else did. They were pumping it half a mile down the street,
Right.
fast as they could get it out. More water was coming in from elsewhere in Riverhead, because again, it was just a low spot.
Right.
Yeah, but
So-
during that March, I mean, in all fairness, during that storm, there was water in areas of Riverhead, there was never water before.
Yeah,
so
10 inches
that was
in an
phenomenal.
hour.
But when that's all, after a good rain, even now, when that's flooded, I don't think too much of it came from the sky. Most of it's coming from the ground table up into that low area.
And that's what we have to figure out to make sure that whatever's, he only has to take care of his property's water and potentially your property's water if the subdivision, that's what it was designed to do. If it's just the water table, he's not, that, I can't make him.
But 2,800 yards dumped into a low area may displace that water back into us.
It may push it in another, well, that's the drainage plan. We won't let him do that. We'll make sure we push it so that he takes care of that water that is created from having that extra fill. That's the issue. That's the whole issue that I see, is that whatever he adds to that property, it doesn't impact you. And if it does anything, it makes your life easier.
Because just putting something there now basically just parts
That's
it
right.
all.
And that's Mr. DeLuca and the engineers, they have magic
didn't get that far
formulas
in
to
school.
fix this.
We can't do anything with the water coming off of 105. There's a drain there. If that water's coming in, we can't do nothing with that water.
Well, I think we'll get there. I mean, I think there's, Mr. DeLuca, you seem to think that there was a way that we can solve this, so let's get the drainage plan and.
To be perfectly honest with you, I've
Okay.
been visiting this site to get to this point now for 2 years. And I've been to the site basically in every season of the year. And I have pictures to prove it. Other than that March storm that you talked about a couple of years ago, I've been to this site probably, as I said, every season of the year. There's never, and I say categorically never, ever been water ponded there. And I have pictures from every season.
Right. I don't,
For 2 years.
I don't
and it hasn't been any
discount
water
that.
there.
But when the neighbor lives there and sees it all the time, I could tell you, well, we don't want to get into that. I'm sure sometimes there's water there that you may not see, but I'm not even worried about that. I'm worried about you doing the drainage plan. And let's get the drainage, let's leave this open. Rick?
Yes.
2 months to get it through planning, is that?
I think we do it 30 days.
30 days, all right. So let's leave this open for written comment from the applicant to the planning board and basically a referral from the planning board back to us. That's what I'd like to see, as a referral from the planning board back to us. We'll leave it open.
Well, we need to, our time to act under special permit, we have 62 days. to close the
62
hearing.
days? So we're not closing the hearing.
That's how we're gonna do?
Yeah, I'm gonna leave the hearing open for written comment. And let's leave it open to April 1st work? Okay, so then we'll run, parallel tracks and try to get there. All right, thank you very much. We'll leave the hearing open. We'll leave it for written comments and a report back for the planning board. Close it for public comments till April 1st. All right, thank you very much. We'll open the floor to comments on resolutions. Does anybody wish to be heard? A familiar soul.
Matt Hadoff. Resolution 139.
I think that resolution gets over, it's gonna be tabled.
Okay, I just, I hadn't had a chance to talk to Jim or Sean about it, and I just wanted to make sure that we were on the same page. I'd much rather talk about this not in this setting.
Understood.
So I would appreciate, we'll table that and hopefully have a discussion with the board.
Understood.
Thank you.
Thank you. Does anybody else wish to be heard on resolutions? Hello.
Mary Egan from Austrian Avenue.
Can you bring the microphone down, please?
Oh, I don't think we're adopting the dogs. Is the dogs?
It's in there.
Oh, well, we're not adopting that. Well, I'm not. I'm sorry.
I left a
I wanted to amend it.
message for Ms. Giglio. I didn't hear back.
Oh.
Yeah,
My cell number.
I did speak to the town attorney about it, but it was later on this afternoon, and she did say that language that's in there is language that's consistent with surrounding towns, and it's not necessarily language that someone is going to be able to pursue a charge against you, that they were intimidated by your dog barking. If they were to file a complaint saying that they were intimidated by your dog, that you would have a chance to respond to that and say, my dog was tied up, my dog was in my yard, my dog was in my house. And she also said that if there are people that are loitering outside of your home on the town road or on your property or in the right-of-way, that she said that she would recommend that you would call the police and tell them that there are people loitering outside your home, so that your dog wouldn't be outraged. So I wasn't sure that this was in the packet for this evening, and it is, and
Well, it's hard to, I work a 40-hour week.
Well, I'm gonna,
Yes.
let me allay your concerns here. We have to adopt this because of the takeover of the North Fork Animal Welfare League. I believe that Councilman Gabrielson and I share your concerns on that.
Yes.
So if the Councilman Gabrielson and I get one other council person to agree, we will have another public hearing to strip that out. But we have to fix this for the North Fork Animal Welfare League, not that part, but the redemption of dogs. And then we'll have a subsequent public hearing, because I agree with you 100%. Your dog's supposed to bark at people. Your dog's supposed to keep people off your property.
that's what.
Do you have front yard fenced?
Not yet,
Not yet.
not yet, and my backyard is fenced. But in the
Even with a
summer,
fence, even with a fence, and I agree with you, dogs running to the fence and barking could intimidate somebody that's walking past your house. at least make them jump, because they don't know if the dog can jump that fence or come up to that fence. So even with a fence, it can intimidate somebody, but this is not, for that reason. I mean, he's not gonna bite anybody.
Well-
So, you know, I don't like that in that section
So,
anyway.
Why don't we adopt it and then have another public hearing and take it out?
Just if I can be heard briefly, I mean, as Councilwoman Giglio pointed out, Deputy Town Attorney Anne Marie Prudenti prepared the legislation, did look at some of the adjoining jurisdictions who have similar language, including Town of Southampton. And you have to look at the statute from a whole read, not just the word intimidation, because it's a reasonable man standard. You have to look at it from a standpoint of what constitutes harassment and what type of standard. If the dog comes running, that may, in and of itself, will not, is that a reasonable person standard, and is that harassment? So it's something that's, I know you're reading it and looking at the word intimidation and saying, well, if somebody's intimidated, I'm immediately subject to the town prosecuting me, and it takes more than that. So I just want to, again, as a supervisor, saying allay your fears.
You're not talking about neighbors, you're talking about passerbys.
Right.
I think there's 3 votes to republicly hear this. Is George, you?
Yes, I would say.
John, you?
I don't understand why we don't just strike it.
Because we
Why
can't.
we can't
You have
strike
to-
it right now?
You can't, because we have to adopt it so that the transfer of power from the North Fork Animal Welfare League goes forward on March 1st. You can't make material changes to something after it's noticed and publicly heard. And we need this language in for that transfer, and then we can immediately go right back, next board meeting, and take that language
Well, my
to
next
another
question
public hearing.
is, what does managing the animal shelter have to do with confiscating a dog on someone's private property?
It doesn't. That language didn't have to be in there. It was a little bit of extra work done that we may not necessarily have needed.
Okay, so you're going to bring this up at another meeting?
Oh, I think we could bring that up at the very next board meeting. Bob, can we get this brought up at the very next board meeting, deleting that?
I will ask the Deputy Town Attorney to
Thank
prepare
you.
the legislation to.
And that'll satisfy your concerns, my concerns, and tell your dog, keep up the good work.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Even in the 58-9, we struck out domestic farm animals, and yet in this part, it puts it back in. There's a conflict even of.
We'll fix it.
We got some things to fix.
We'll fix it.
Yeah, because
I've
there's
got
a
a former
conflict.
farm
It's
animal.
supposed to be
It's
dogs,
not-
not
She has
farm
a dog,
animals.
I'm concerned. Yeah, but in the other part, they put farm animals.
Yeah,
back.
I brought that up.
Yeah, they struck it on the top, but they put it back, so we have some work.
There's no farm animals.
So
I didn't work on this. This was Anne Marie and I guess North Fork.
There is a
Jill, just put
provision
it on for work session
There is a
next week.
provision that deals with domestic animals running at large, which is not the same provision here, and that's why you have the catch-all phrase that still deals
That's
with
correct.
domestic animals.
That's correct.
In addition to dogs or canines. So that's the reason why that language couldn't come out, because there's a separate section that still deals with animals free and about and interfering with traffic and whatnot. So that's why
Which is-
domestic animals is still in there.
But you struck it out, and
Because with respect to
58.
this, with respect to picking up, we're not going to have the North Fork Welfare Animal League responsible for picking up domestic animals, only dogs. So that's why that was stricken from that particular
was
provision.
specified.
58-9. With 58-8, I believe it is, talks about animals running at large, and includes the domestic animals.
All right, so let's put it on to strike that. George, if there's something else we're gonna talk about at
We'll
next
have
work
to talk
session.
about it at the work session.
you're right, okay,
We just
good.
wanna make sure March 1st, everything works out smoothly.
Good
Hello.
evening. Angela DeVito, South Jamesport. On Resolution 139, in addition to the obvious significant increase in annual salary, has the job duties, functions, and responsibility within our recreation department increased to such an extent and changed so that they now meet what civil service has described for a Parks and Recreation Administrator? They're very, very different between the two job titles in terms of level of responsibility and various duties that need to be discharged. So I was wondering, is this sort of a restructuring of our recreation department and
This
I mean, what is behind this is what I'm asking.
This title here probably is more matches what he does for us for the town of Riverhead.
Well, that
And
was my
is
question.
true.
If it does, then, okay, thank you.
Because he's in charge of all our parks, too. Not just recreation, but he's in charge of all our parks.
Well, I was just
So that's
asking
why
that, if that's,
it
that is what is being considered here.
Parks and
John, is that, and you've answered the question. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Does anybody else wish to be heard? Georgette, no, not seeing anybody. Let's take, yes, sir?
This is an opinion.
On the resolutions?
No.
Okay, then wait till the end of the meeting if you don't mind, sir.
I don't mind.
Okay,
I didn't know.
no, we take general public comment at the end of the meeting. Okay, Diane?
You ready? Resolution 133.
21st Century Oncology Water Service Capital Project Budget Adoption. So moved.
I'll second.
Moved and seconded, vote please.
Giglio.
Yes.
Gabrielson.
Yes.
Wooten.
Yes.
Dunleavy.
Yes.
Walter.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 134.
Accepts the resignation of a call-in inventory clerk. So moved.
And seconded.
Moved and seconded, vote please.
Giglio.
Yes.
Gabrielson.
Yes.
Wooten.
Yes.
Dunleavy.
Yes.
Walter.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 135.
Grants excavation permit as provided by Chapter 62 of the Rivertown Code to Southpole Medical Arts, Inc., a.k.a. East End Eye Associates. So moved.
And seconded.
Moved and seconded, vote please.
Giglio.
Yes.
Gabrielson.
Yes.
Wooten.
Yes.
Dunleavy.
Yes.
Walter.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 136.
Ratifies town board nomination of Suffolk Theater for Preservation League of New York State for 2013 Excellence Award. So moved.
And seconded.
Moved and seconded, vote please.
Giglio.
Yes.
Gabrielson.
Yes.
Wooten.
Yes.
Dunleavy.
Yes.
Walter.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 137.
Authorize the town clerk to publish and post resolution for request for proposal for Youngs Avenue landfill post-closure inspection, testing, and reporting activities. So moved.
I'll second.
Moved and seconded, vote please.
Giglio.
Yes.
Gabrielson.
Yes.
Wooten.
Yes.
Dunleavy.
Yes.
Walter.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 138.
Authorizes highway superintendent to attend the 2013 National Truck Equipment Association Work Truck Show. So moved.
And seconded.
Moved and seconded, vote please.
Giglio.
Yes.
Gabrielson.
Yes.
Wooten.
Yes.
Dunleavy.
Yes.
Walter.
Yes, I'm just, Tara, was this amended,
Yes, I put it in accordance to,
our travel policy?
it's in there, where it refers to the reimbursement and receipts.
Fourth
It's like the
whereas. Person's corner, right?
Okay, oh, got it,
That's a yes.
yes. Sorry.
Resolution adopted.
Sure, you gotta look at our travel policy.
Resolution 139.
Before you call 139, can I ask for it to be tabled
I'll second.
with public comment when opened, off the floor?
A second.
What happened?
I don't know, it's being tabled, moved and seconded as to table.
I think what John is saying is that sometimes when we table resolutions, when we start to call the resolutions, we pull it off the floor and we untable it, and there's not a chance for anybody to speak before the resolutions are called. So it was requested that the comment period remain open
There's
for
no
this.
comment, there's just a vote now.
Okay, so then when we pull it off the floor to table it, that it be in the packet so that they know that it's coming off the floor.
No.
untable.
I was told that one of our board members told somebody that when a resolution is tabled and we pull it off, untable it, you cannot comment on that resolution.
Of course you can comment.
Well, a board member told somebody that.
Okay.
But anyway, so I want to make sure that we can comment on it.
That's right, so is a motion to
Okay.
table.
Right.
There's a second to the table. Can we vote as to table?
Giglio.
Yes to table and leave open for comment.
Gabrielson.
Yes to table.
Wooten.
Out of respect to my colleagues, I'll honor their request to look at this more, so yes.
Dunleavy.
Yes.
Walter.
Yes.
The resolution has been tabled. Resolution 140.
Approves request for a leave of absence. So moved.
And seconded.
Moved and seconded, vote please.
Giglio.
Yes.
Gabrielson.
Yes.
Wooten.
Yes.
Dunleavy.
Yes.
Walter.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 141.
Extend site plan approval of Zenith Group LLC, Ray Castronova. So moved.
And seconded.
Moved and seconded, vote please.
Giglio.
Abstain, I represented him.
Gabrielson.
Yes.
Wooten.
That is the final one? Yes.
Dunleavy.
Yes.
Walter.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 142.
Awards bid for sporting goods, 2012 to 2013. So moved.
Seconded.
Moved and seconded, vote please.
Giglio.
Yes.
Gabrielson.
Yes.
Wooten.
Yes.
Dunleavy.
Yes.
Walter.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 143.
Authorization to publish advertisement for fertilizer and lawn chemicals. So moved.
And seconded.
Moved and seconded, vote please.
Giglio.
Yes.
Gabrielson.
Yes.
Wooten.
Yes.
Dunleavy.
Yes.
Walter.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 144.
Authorization to publish advertisement for propane fuel. So moved.
And seconded.
Moved and seconded, vote please.
Giglio.
Yes.
Gabrielson.
Yes.
Wooten.
Yes.
Dunleavy.
Yes.
Walter.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 145.
Appoints a call and recreation leader to the recreation department. So moved.
And seconded.
Moved and seconded, vote please.
Giglio.
Yes.
Gabrielson.
Yes.
Wooten.
Yes.
Dunleavy.
Yes.
Walter.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 146.
Authorize the supervisor to execute a stipulation of agreement with the Riverhead Town Superior Officers Association, Incorporated. So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded, vote please.
Giglio.
Yes.
Gabrielson.
Yes.
Wooten.
Yeah, I need a copy of the stiff though. Yes.
Dunleavy.
Yes, this is different than the PBA, so I'm gonna vote yes for this.
Walter.
Yes.
Resolution
Not
adopted.
fair to say.
Resolution 147.
Establishes travel and conference policy. So moved.
And seconded.
Moved and seconded, vote please.
Giglio.
Yes.
Gabrielson.
Yes.
Wooten.
Yes.
Dunleavy.
Yes.
Walter.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 148.
2013 Washington Avenue Culvert Budget Adoption. So moved.
And seconded.
Moved and seconded, vote please.
Giglio.
Yes.
Gabrielson.
Yes.
Wooten.
Yes.
Dunleavy.
Yes.
Walter.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 149.
Accepts 100% site plan security of Hampton Jitney Inc., Jeffrey Lynch. So moved.
And seconded.
Moved and seconded, vote please.
Giglio.
Yes.
Gabrielson.
Yes.
Wooten.
Yes.
Dunleavy.
Yes.
Walter.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 150.
Approve Chapter 90 application of the American Cancer Society Bark for Life Dog Walk to Fight Cancer on April 28, 2013. So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded, vote please.
Giglio.
Yes.
Gabrielson.
Yes.
Wooten.
Yes.
Dunleavy.
Yes.
Walter.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 151.
Approves a Chapter 90 application of American Heart Association for the Healing Heart 5K Run Walk at the Martha Clara Vineyard on May 19th, 2013. So moved.
And seconded.
Moved and seconded, vote please.
Giglio.
Yes.
Gabrielson.
Yes.
Wooten.
Yes.
Dunleavy.
Yes.
Walter.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 152.
Appointing the firm of Smith, Finkelstein, Lundberg, Isla, and Yakuboski LLP, special counsel with respect to a claim against MHC Therms LLC and Hometown Therms Estate LLC. So moved.
And seconded.
Moved and seconded, vote please.
Giglio.
Yes.
Gabrielson.
Yes.
Wooten.
Yes.
Dunleavy.
Yes.
Walter.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 153.
Authorizes the supervisor to execute polling place agreements with Suffolk County Board of Elections. So moved.
John?
Seconded.
Moved and seconded, vote please.
Giglio.
Yes.
Gabrielson.
Yes.
Wooten.
Yes.
Dunleavy.
Yes.
Walter.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 154.
Authorize the supervisor to execute a license agreement with East End Oysters to allow the installation of floating upwellers system, that's Flopsy, in East Creek. So moved.
I'll second.
Moved and seconded, vote please.
Giglio.
Yes.
Gabrielson.
Yes.
Wooten.
Yes.
Dunleavy.
Yes, this is a good thing. It's for the cultivation of oysters. So, and we need that, so I vote yes.
Walter.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 155.
Authorize the supervisor to execute amendment agreement with Riverhead Youth Sports Incorporated for referee umpire services for Town Riverhead Police Athletic League, girls and boys lacrosse, and football program for the 2013 calendar year. So moved.
And seconded.
Moved and seconded, vote please.
Giglio.
Yes.
Gabrielson.
Yes.
Wooten.
Yes.
Dunleavy.
Yes.
Walter.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 156.
Authorize the supervisor to execute a right agreement for consultant and professional service with Nextierion LLC DBA Black Box Network Services. So moved.
And seconded.
Moved and seconded, vote please.
Giglio.
Yes.
Gabrielson.
Yes.
Wooten.
Yes.
Dunleavy.
Yes.
Walter.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 157.
Approves the Chapter 90 application of All for the East End Festival at Martha Clara Vineyards on August 19th, 2013. So moved.
And seconded.
Moved and seconded, vote please.
Giglio.
Yes.
Gabrielson.
Yes.
Wooten.
Yes.
Dunleavy.
Yes.
Walter.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 158.
Grants excavation grading permit as provided by Chapter 62 of the Rivertown Code to Hampton Jitney Incorporated. So moved.
I'll second.
Moved and seconded. I want to make one comment because I know somebody's sitting in the audience. Rob, you represent them. Got to get the special permit application in immediately for these. Perfect, thank you. Moved and seconded, vote please.
Giglio.
Yes.
Gabrielson.
Yes.
Wooten.
Yes.
Dunleavy.
Yes.
Walter.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 159.
Approve Chapter 90 application of Conic Bay Medical Center 18th Annual East End Garden Festival, May 9th through the 12th, 2013. So moved.
And seconded.
Moved and seconded, vote please.
Giglio.
Yes.
Gabrielson.
Yes.
Wooten.
Yes.
Dunleavy.
Yes.
Walter.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 160.
Releases irrevocable letter of credit and accepts cashier's check in connection with improvements to be completed within the subdivision entitled Country Trails, and that's Portview Homes, Inc. So moved.
And seconded.
Moved and seconded, vote please.
Giglio.
Yes.
Gabrielson.
Yes.
Wooten.
Yes.
Dunleavy.
Yes.
Walter.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 161.
Approves Chapter 90 application of East End Tourism Alliance Riverhead Foundation for Marine Research and Preservation. Paddleboat Water Race, July 20th, 2013. So moved.
And seconded.
Moved and seconded, vote please.
Giglio.
Yes.
Gabrielson.
Yes.
Wooten.
Yeah.
Dunleavy.
Yes, it should be fun.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's a
Can't
good
wait to
thing.
see you on
So,
one of our
you're
boards.
not gonna see me on one of these things.
Walter.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 162.
And I think George and I should paddle
Authorize
battle.
the supervisor to
There you go.
execute an agreement
Maybe.
authorizing the town to accept funds from Suffolk County Office for the Aging to supplement the town's residential repair program for the elderly. So moved.
I'll second.
Moved and seconded, vote please.
Giglio.
Yes.
Gabrielson.
Yes.
Wooten.
Yes.
Dunleavy.
Yes.
Walter.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 163.
Authorizes attendance at the 2013 New York State Town Clerks Association Annual State Conference. So moved.
And seconded.
Moved and seconded, vote please.
Giglio.
Yes.
Gabrielson.
Yes.
Wooten.
How bad do you want to go?
To Buffalo? Probably not that
Yes.
badly.
I was thinking before the
In May, but I'm like, yes.
It's still snow.
Just kidding.
Probably, yeah. Dunleavy.
Yes.
Walter.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 164.
All right, we're gonna adopt this and then go to public.
And we're gonna go
Okay.
change it up.
We're gonna change it up.
Absolutely.
All right, so adopts the local law amending chapter 58 entitled Dogs of the Riverhead Town Code. So moved.
And seconded.
Moved and seconded, vote please.
Giglio.
Yes.
Gabrielson.
Yes.
Wooten.
Yes.
Dunleavy.
Yeah, I'm only adopting it until we, talk about it, rehear it. I vote yes.
Walter.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 165.
Appoints and call-in Recreation Aid 2 to the Recreation Department. So moved.
And seconded.
Moved and seconded, vote please.
Giglio.
Yes.
Gabrielson.
Yes.
Wooten.
Yes.
Dunleavy.
Yes.
Walter.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 166.
Amends agreement with Atlantis Holding LLC, Restore 3 grant. So moved.
Yes. And seconded. I'm sorry.
Moved and seconded, vote please.
Giglio.
Yes.
Gabrielson.
Yes.
Wooten.
Yes.
Dunleavy.
Yes.
Walter.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 167.
Awards bid for diesel fuel 2013. So moved.
And seconded.
Moved and seconded, vote please.
Giglio.
Yes.
Gabrielson.
Yes.
Wooten.
Yes.
Dunleavy.
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry that the first business declared bankruptcy, so I'm gonna vote yes.
Walter.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 168.
Appoints a water meter reader. So moved.
And seconded.
Moved and seconded, vote please.
Giglio.
Yes.
Gabrielson.
Yes.
Wooten.
Yes.
Dunleavy.
Yeah, this is not a new position, we're just moving somebody from one position to another position. So I vote yes.
Walter.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 169.
Jody?
Pays bills.
Second.
Moved and seconded, vote please.
Giglio.
Yes.
Gabrielson.
Yes.
Wooten.
Yes.
Dunleavy.
Yes.
Walter.
Yes.
Resolution adopted.
John always does the pays
Okay,
bills.
the gentleman was eager to talk. Would you like to address the board, sir?
Good evening. My name is Frank Sabalia, and I would like to talk about polo. A lot of people don't understand polo. There's a lot of money behind polo. It brings in money. There's something about polo you could look as a small business or an enterprise. They're going to put in an application. As polo, if you go through the back down south, plenty of money behind it. They spend a lot of money. They utilize a lot of money. They need support for the horses, food, workers. You can look at it as a small business enterprise. Now, if you go take a drive around MacArthur Airport, you see a lot of empty buildings. These are buildings that enterprise would utilize because it's closer to the city and has a big airport. People might think, oh, we could get these people up front here to come to Riverhead. Now, there's a gentleman, Burnham, I believe, has 90 acres. For years, he's been trying to sell this for small business. Polo is a cash crop, no matter how you look at it. It's not a snow mountain, a ski mountain, or any other schemes that people can think of. It brings in money, it's good for the town of Riverhead, and everybody will benefit. And it's also good for the environment, because there's no pollution, everything is recycled. So the people that you're going to see, or they're going to visit you on polo, listen to them. It'll be a good thing for Riverhead. I voted for all of you. I hope you will think of the good benefits for the town. And there's also a rumor. Cornell University might put a veterinary hospital here because of the polo. Because polo brings money, animals, and this would benefit the town. To look at, oh, we'll save this land, we're going to get some light industry. You have a light industry. It's a cash crop for the town. Horses, people, and if the rumor's correct, a school, which also brings money in. So the town would benefit greatly. So I really would consider, when they come to you, to consider it very good and take everything in and see what's good for the town. Thank you.
All right, thank you, sir.
Will you-
Anybody else wish?
Were you reading my mind? Because I agree 1,000% with you.
I don't know.
Yes.
I just met you.
All right, thank you. Dominique?
You better than me if you can read his mind. I'll tell you that.
I don't know if I want to read your mind.
Right.
What's rolling around in there, John?
Dominique Mendez, Riverhead Neighborhood Preservation Coalition. Tonight I just wanted to thank the board because your agenda for this meeting was online sooner and the resolutions were up. And I wanted to also thank the staff, Jill Lewis and Tara.
And Diane?
And Diane. That's
She's
right.
a
I'm
hammer.
sorry.
She
And
doesn't
Diane.
she's not letting anything on.
Forget.
After 4:30, it's done.
Yeah, so that's definitely a step in the right direction,
Yeah,
definitely
it's nice
improvement.
seeing him a couple time.
Yeah, yeah, it's good for you too, right? And I hope that's, and there's another thing, planning board decisions are now up. I did, discuss that with some of you. And Jill, thank you. And the planning board decisions are now up online, and that's a good thing. We're hoping the ZBA decisions will be up on there soon. Like other towns, that would be great. Things like the public hearings would be all on one link, so all your public hearings would be combined on one link, and more information so people could look up, a little bit and have educate themselves a little bit, so they might be able to speak out or for an opinion or not. Just look at it and say, hey, this is great, no problem. And I just wanted to applaud you for the steps in the right direction and hope it continues in that direction.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, Mr. Keller.
And on that note, Georgette Keller, South Jamesport. On that note, in terms of what when you were holding a public hearing, I'm all in favor of having more documents available online because I was not able to come when the town clerk's office would be open, and so I emailed Angela because I knew she was available during the day and said, could you please go and look at it and see what you can find out. I do know that what she came and she looked at in the town clerk's office is not what was here tonight. That map was not there. The pictures and everything that he submitted as part of the public hearing were not there. So,
They wouldn't necessarily be because it's their hearing to present the information.
Well, that's the way I thought. It's like, which comes first, chicken or the egg? So I was like, well, I'll wait till the end of the meeting. We can have this discussion because now, if you're going to hold, and that's exactly where I was leading to next, is if it is their opportunity to present all their further information, and then you're going to hold the record open, to then be able to take the additional photographs and these things that they submitted as their evidence, because the public really can't make an informed comment on the public hearing without having ready access.
We'll take this and put it as part of the
And I know as a school teacher, I'm at school at 7 o'clock in the morning, and sometimes I'm there till well after town hall is closed. So that leaves me no time to be, as a resident, to come and access things. So I do know that moving further along in that vein of making, especially for public hearings and for streamlining the public hearing process, I'm still going to keep asking for this. I think it's now the 9th year I asked for this, is that across the boards of this town that we have uniform mailing, notice, and the requirements for notice.
We did do that, and we have done that. It's not across the board, but we have moved
Well,
in that direction.
Right. Most of the towns now on Long Island have it across the board, and it would make it a lot easier. I mean, when I go to the ZBA and they say, are you an adjacent property owner or directly across the street?
Well, we're
Whereas for something
redoing-
else, it's 250 feet.
Our opportunity, if you not that you were teaching, but at our work session where General Code Publishers is updating our code, there'll be probably a plethora of public hearings that are coming to fix our code. That would be the opportunity to probably fix it all at
Well,
once.
because of Channel 22, which is why I said, well, tonight I'm on vacation week, so I'm here and I can raise those issues. And I do watch Channel 22 and watch the meetings, and that's how I stay abreast of a lot of what, you guys are doing. And I just think that additional information then being available online, because I know the town has the capability to scan the plans in and things like that.
We don't have the ability to scan something big like that.
I think you do.
No, we don't. To plans like this, we don't have the ability to do that. No.
No?
Oh, we can
Then
scan
have
it.
them submitted as a PDF file as part of the requirements.
Can do that.
Because they have them in their computers to generate these, so that's how they when they use the AutoCAD, there's no reason why they can't just submit it in PDF to the town clerk's office, and then it's a very simple posting.
I don't know that that's PDF, but some people can, yes.
If it's not PDF, it's some other format. It is computer generated.
That looks like
Right, if it's AutoCAD,
This-
it's still computer generated and it's still a computer file. So it doesn't even have to go from computer to paper to back to computer. It certainly could be
I understand
streamlined,
what you're looking at, and we will endeavor to try to get more information on these things up online. I mean, Diane, you
We can
could
get
do
some of
that,
the
whatever,
big
because
maps or-
you get the stuff, you could put it
Yeah, whatever
online.
you got today was submitted, should be put on there.
But this almost looks like he colored that in himself.
That may be. And,
Yeah, that
and the
might
simple
not be.
solution to that then is to photograph it with a smartphone and email it. You know, I mean, it can be that simple, as long as it's something that can be, we do it all the time when we come and we look at files, that's what we do, we just photograph it, the
Yeah.
information, rather than
Well,
going
Diana and
through
I will
$4
talk.
worth of
Well,
copies.
let's talk, because you get the files that we.
I have thoughts on all
All right,
that, yeah,
so
so
we'll-
that's, yeah.
So just,
When
you
she
know.
comes back from Buffalo, she'll be
Yeah.
well rested.
Have fun in Buffalo in the May snow.
Yeah.
You can do some spring skiing, right? Cross country in shorts. All right, thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Does anybody else wish to be heard tonight? Not seeing anybody, can I get a motion to
Make a
adjourn?
motion to adjourn?
All in favor? Aye. Opposed,
Bill.
abstentions? Motion carries. Yeah, Diane, I think,